Hello, and welcome to my new web series, The Easy Way to Learn Guitar. I am Kai Green, and I shall be your instructor. Let me tell you a little bit about myself and my history. I have been playing the guitar since I was 4 years old, when I used to look like this. Yes, that's me, the rock god at 4. Oh yes. Ever since, I have spent a lot of time practicing learning different styles of guitar, from Spanish classical to rock and pop and acoustic, rhythmic slapping, a bit like Newton Faulkner and people like that. All kinds of different disciplines. And I'm also a singer. I left school at 16 and became a professional musician, and I've been teaching guitar since I was 15 years old. I started out teaching friends and eventually progressed on to doing it for money. And over the years I have developed my own, shall we say, method or style of teaching guitar that I've found works very well for all age groups, especially for older age groups who generally tend to struggle with repetitiveness that you need to do to play a guitar or a piano, or it's very difficult to pick up instruments when you're older because the progression is very slow and you don't tend to get anywhere, especially using traditional methods. So my method revolves mainly around drilling skills so that you can play a song you want to play. Not a song I pick for you, not a song any other instructor picks for you, not a song from a grade book, but a song you would like to be able to play. And so we work on that. Once you can play that song, you pick a new song, we work on a whole new set of skills. So this first course is going to be our fundamentals course. There are 4 levels in my method. That's the fundamentals, the beginner's level, an intermediate level, and an expert level. I do have a 5th level we call the Clapton mode, but we won't get into that. That's a long way off yet. So this first level, the fundamentals, it's pretty simple. We're going to split it up into lessons. The first thing will be a tour of a guitar, so we're going to take it right from the beginning, as if you've never picked up a guitar before, don't know what one looks like, and I'm going to show you all the way around the guitar. After that, we'll go into basic maintenance and tuning of your guitar, which is a very important skill for all guitarists to know. Then we'll go into basic fingering, basic picking, basic chords, basic reading of music, and that will be mainly on tablature, but we will cover a little bit of how to read dots, because it's important to know how to read dots, and I'll go into that at the time. Then we will do arpeggios, and finally we will do a thing called daily drills, which will be the last video, which is 8 drills you should do every day on your guitar until you progress to the next level. And then finally I'll have a bunch of song tutorials for what you would be able to play at the level you're at now. But first, you need to pick a song you want to learn how to play. This, I'm thinking of a song, something quite simple, like a Beatles song, maybe something like Hey Jude, or something a bit more modern, maybe something like Wonderwall by Oasis, something even more modern than that, maybe The Lazy Song by Bruno Mars. That's a pretty simple song. So you want to pick something that's quite easy, nice pop song, and that's going to be your aim. And once you hit that song and you can play that song and you can play it well, then you pick a new song, a bit more difficult, and you work towards playing that one. So without further ado, here is a tour of your guitar. We're going to cover the acoustic first, we will cover the electric in a second. All guitars, whether acoustic or electric, come in 2 parts. The body and the neck. Some people will split it up into 3 parts and say the head is a separate part. It's all part of the neck as far as I'm concerned. So let's start with the body. This acoustic has something not all acoustics have, which is a cutaway here. And that's just so you can get your hand further up the fretboard. If that came out here, like it does on most guitars, they come around to the same bit. Here, you have to reach over it, and it can be quite difficult. So most people these days like a cutaway guitar. If you're playing Spanish especially, you probably don't need it. So on a traditional acoustic, you don't really ever get up that far very often, so they don't put them in, but on modern ones, they do. So you cut away. This here is your scratch guard, and it literally does what it says. It stops you from scratching the guitar with your plectrum or with your fingers as you're playing. You have your sound hole. These sometimes have different designs on different guitars. Sometimes you'll have some little sound holes down here instead of one big one here. Sometimes you'll have a big one here and then some little ones here. Sometimes you'll have a funny shaped one in the middle. Sometimes you'll have 2 F-shaped ones, There's all kinds of different ones, but generally most acoustic guitars have a round sound hole underneath the strings. Inside there, inside the guitar is called the resonation chamber. That's where it gets its loudness from, its volume from. Here you've got your bridge, your string pegs, and this is what basically holds the bottom end of the guitar together. The bridge there is to keep your strings elevated from the fretboard. And also, if you can fiddle with your bridge on an acoustic, normally this one's an insert, it's just a bit of plastic that fits into a hole. You can normally file off the bottom if you're having intonation problems. Moving up off of the body into the neck, you'll see the frets. These are these metal bits here. That's what makes each different note, and you play a different fret behind each fret. You go up half a semitone every time. They get closer together, smaller and smaller as you get further up the neck. That's because as the strings get shorter, the intervals are shorter too. Up on the head, you've got the nut here, and that keeps the string secure at the head end of the guitar. String winders, machine heads, and that's really about it. On this particular guitar, this is a semi-acoustic guitar or an acoustic electric guitar, and in the bottom there, that's a jack plug, and on the top here is a preamp, and I can control the treble and the bass and the volume of the pickup, which is inside, just underneath the bridge here in this one. And that's an acoustic, so let's move on to the electric. Our electric here, you'll notice straight away has some differences and some similarities. This is a hollow body guitar and does actually have sound holes in it, as you can see here, but it's mainly an electric guitar, and you'll get either hollow bodied or solid bodied guitars when you play electrics. Hollow bodied, there isn't really any difference in quality or sound. It depends on what guitar you've got. Some guitars sound one way, some guitars sound another way. It really is whatever, down to preference, whatever you like. Stratocasters are solid bodies. This, as you can see, is hollow. Now on the body of your electric guitar, you will have your volume, tone, pots and knobs, and these are this is my 4 on this one. You will have possibly a tremolo, which is for doing the whammy bar stuff, and you will always have a switch for your pickups. Which will be either here or down here or here. Usually on guitars, your 2 pickups or 3 pickups sometimes. These are both big humbucker pickups, big solid pickups. On a Stratocaster you tend to have the thin ones. There isn't any difference really in the neck. The only difference would be on the head. Some guitars, electrics, have 6 strings all on one side of the head. Others have 3 and 3, like this one. Some of them I've even seen have 5 and 1 and 4 and 2. They're quite rare. And that is really the only differences. Obviously on this one, the jack plugs in down here, and my pickups are here and here instead of underneath the bridge inside the guitar. And that is an electric guitar. That's our first lesson done. Next lesson will be on tuning and maintenance. It's an important lesson. Must not miss it. No point skipping it, because you'll need it for the rest of your life. I'll see you next time.